Honey, what are you doing?
Oh, I figured if I rubbed my lawn and said drumlandscapesupply.com, I'd have the dream lawn I've always wanted.
The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the views of WSIC.
I need some real talk. Oh, I need some real talk. Give me some of that real talk.
Today's Real Talk, the show focused on North Carolina real estate. Justin Ckezepis, Claudia Ogrizek of Compass Real Estate. Back at it another week, another Monday in the marketplace, moving along. She's trying to avoid it, but she won't be able to. More or less, will there be more or less inventory this week than last?
With the amount of houses I showed this weekend, I will say more.
So you feel like you saw more inventory.
Well, or my clients have a good budget. No, I would say so. We had many options. And I was able to get many showings that were within their target price and house, so I would say more.
Okay, so do you believe these or know of whether, because you probably would know this answer because you work, and are these homes that you looked at this past weekend still active or are they already under contract?
I looked at some of them. I would say half and half. So some are still standing and actually I'll talk about these clients, but I started planning earlier the week and then I waited until Thursday evening to start because I was showing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I only booked Thursday night. And when I woke up, 2 of them were canceled because they were under contract before the weekend. So they came on the market on Thursday because I didn't want to do it too early because I thought, okay, if I look at them on Tuesday, by Friday, I did it Thursday night. And when I woke up, 2 of the, I had 12 houses day one, 2 were already under contract. And I had to rearrange my route.
Firm exclusives or just actively in the MLS?
These were all actively listed, all to the general public.
Okay. How's it going on the firm exclusive side? Is that moving deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole? Or
yes, and it's happening, and we are, am I allowed to, allegedly, we are working hard on making it more and more and more private exclusives.
It's hard to see it not going the other direction just with these rule changes and the way that certain things now have to adapt to. And it will become important for having the right network almost necessarily that you're working with, because for a long time, it almost shifted toward, it didn't matter, right? The market was moving so fast. There was so much inventory. Everyone's buying, everyone's selling. It's moving at such a pace. It didn't matter really what firm you were with unless like you had something special you liked about yours in particular. But now it's almost seeming like toward the future, at least in the short term. Maybe we'll observe and see how the market continues to evolve, but that being with a particular firm is going to matter.
I guess I am a visionary because but on a serious note, it was one of the things that made me move to Compass was the amount, even though they didn't allow me to look at it, I just briefly saw the number and I'm like, this is where I want to be because it gives me the advantage if I am a buyer agent to show my clients houses that nobody else can see.
Okay, so that's internally as far as the brokerage game, why you like that particular firm. Let's talk about buyers and why they like our particular area. What are they saying these days to you, the ones coming from out of state? Because you're working with some from out of state.
Yes.
You've had some come into town literally to look at houses and say, I've heard about this place. I'm coming here once and I'm going to move here.
Actually, this weekend in particular, I had planned and kind of blocked as much as I could for them coming from Brazil. And they are coming on an EB5. Do you know what an EB5 is?
No.
Not at all?
Is it a visa?
It's a visa.
Okay. It sounded like a good technical term, like a government technical ID number or something.
An EB5 is an investor visa. So it's people with money willing to invest in the United States. There are many rules. I don't know all the rules because I'm not an immigration attorney, but
there's a process.
Oh, there is a long process, and theirs is about to be ready in a few months, probably 4 months. So they should be allowed to move here. And then also, if you follow all the rules, so you do have to invest a certain amount of money, a lot of money, kind of stays in a kind of an escrow immigration account, I think for 2 years. which I think it's pretty unfair being Brazilian as well, but depending on the country, and again, I don't know all the rules, but depending on the country you're coming from, you have to put more money or less money into this kind of an escrow account for 2 years, I think. So if you're Brazilian, I think it's about $800 to $1 million that just stay there for a while until you prove that you are following the rules. So I know you have to invest, you have to, I think, employ people. So you have to come and not only live, but create jobs and create, let's say, more money and pay taxes and do the whole thing. So these clients are on the process of getting the visa. And then if they follow all the rules, 2 years from now, I think they can apply for a green card and then follow the rules for the green card to have permanent residency, right? Because you always get the first green card. It doesn't matter. Like when I got married, 2 years, and then I had to prove that it was a real marriage, that we were an actual couple, and then I got the 5 year and then the citizenship. But same thing with investors, many rules to follow, and then if you follow all the rules, basically employing people and generating money, just not using your money, you get to stay.
And
So
looking here, particularly in North Carolina, this was the interest for them, or okay,
kind of. So they spent 1 week here, 3 days in 3.5 days in Orlando, 3 days here because they had heard about it. And when they came here, because we had talked about, things, lifestyle, what they want to do, we kind of chose 3 areas: Lake Norman, uptown-ish, around uptown, so Plaza Midwood, Eastover, Chantilly, blah, 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 and Ballantyne. So we spent 1 day in each area. And yesterday, actually, we spent the morning and early afternoon in Ballantyne and surrounding areas. We said goodbye because then again, they are going back home today, and then put pros and cons about Orlando and Charlotte. We are winning, and make a decision. But then they called me mid-afternoon when I thought they were just hanging out in Ballantyne, and they said, we're back in Lake Norman. We really love it. I'm like, yay. And actually, they love my neighborhood, but they love some other areas in Huntersville, actually. So I might have neighbors.
Did you talk to him in Portuguese all day?
Of course, yes.
That's got to be cool.
Yes. It is nice to speak your own language. But yeah, it doesn't matter. They are fluent. They're ready to come. We had lunch together. They didn't ask for my help because they could be a little tense, especially even though they know I'm Brazilian, but they did not ask for any help at all. Because many times people look at me kind of expecting me to, let's say, order or whatever. It didn't matter that I was with them, which is pretty nice. So they are ready to move. They love Charlotte. They said it's prettier, more welcoming. It feels more like a home than Orlando. So I think they're going to choose Charlotte
More
and
homey.
Lake Norman.
More homey,
More
4
homey.
buyers, and it
Yes.
felt like from your visual over the weekend that there was more inventory to choose from. We'll find out if
Oh,
she's right.
yes,
We'll
yes.
find out. More or less active and coming soon in the local MLS. It's Ckezepis MLS.
Do you know? Or
No,
you
I haven't
just-
even looked it up.
no?
I have not looked it
Because
up
I see
yet.
you looking at the computer. No, so
I've
you're
logged in,
just-
but I
okay,
have not. I
okay.
have not pulled the numbers yet.
Okay.
We're also going to talk about sellers because sellers right now, are they still dominating the marketplace? Are they still taking charge of what they can and can't do? Are they disclosing properly? That's another question always every single day. My gosh, more of today's Real Talk coming back, talking about North Carolina real estate.
We'll be back with more of today's Real Talk, hosted by Claudia Ogrizek and Justin Ckezepis, in just a moment on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
We're kicking off a brand new week and more opportunities for rain. Really what could soak us by the end of the weekend to the upcoming weekend, with a couple different systems on the way and a system that could be forming in the Gulf of Mexico that may bring some rain and possibly wind our way by the upcoming weekend. In the meantime, we'll see a mix of clouds, some sunshine peeking out at times for our Monday. We'll really ward off the rain chance until a spotty shower possible this evening. We'll keep that chance around for Tuesday with high temperatures both days around 80. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
The WSIC app is available now wherever you get your apps, featuring local deals from great local businesses like Top Notch Gutters of Statesville,
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Brookdale Village in Huntersville presents their free concert series Live Under the Oaks on Friday. The Village is open all day long for shopping and dining, with Hey Ladies taking the stage at 6 p.m. Bring your chairs and enjoy on-site beverages from Red Rocks. Live Under the Oaks kicks off at 6 p.m. Friday. This Saturday, the Taba Walk begins at 2 p.m. in Old Town Cornelius. Join the area's premier arts and music festival and get ready to experience Lake Norman's most action-packed and fun-filled community celebration with plenty to do for the entire family. Festivities include 2 stages of live bands and entertainment, local artists, craftsmen and vendors, local breweries, multiple food truck courts, a petting zoo, kid zones, games, giveaways, and so much more. The Taba Walk begins at 2 p.m. Saturday in Old Town Cornelius. Northview's Stars Ministry presents a fundraising carnival for children and adults with special needs on September 28th. The carnival begins at 11 a.m. Saturday at 2615 Amity Hill Road in Statesville with free admission. There will be food, activities, and fun for the whole family. Please help raise funds for children and adults with special needs Saturday at the Northview Church of Christ in Statesville. The Breakaway Carolina Music Festival returns to ZMAX Dragway this Friday and Saturday, bringing a party like no other. The festival features 2 days of music, activities, and much more, beginning at 4 p.m. on both days. Visit CharlotteMotorspeedway.com for information, tickets, and details for the Carolina Breakaway Music Festival this Friday and Saturday.
The Renaissance Festival is back! Saturdays and Sundays, October 5th through November 24th. Jousting nights, mermaids, fairies, dragons, oh my! Tickets available online only at renfestinfo.com. Don't miss it!
To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
Now, more of today's Real Talk with Claudia Ogrizek and Justin Ckezepis on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Today's Real Talk, the show focused on North Carolina real estate. Justin Ckezepis, Claudia Ogrizek of Compass Real Estate, hanging out in the studio today, talking about the market, talking about buyers, talking about how people are coming here from all over the world because they love the area. What about sellers? Are sellers giving up their property? Because where are they going to? That means they got to leave or they got to move to another place. I couldn't imagine doing that right now, but that's just me.
I think it's coming. Interest rates came down a little. I think we are around, if you qualify, if you have good credit score, if your debt to income ratio is not too crazy, even below 6 right now.
It's a reasonable expectation right now.
Yes. So now I think it's the time that we were talking about where it might make sense for sellers that pay close to nothing in rates, but don't need to be in their house anymore, so they could downsize or move. Or now I think it's not as bad as it was at 8%. So I think we might see a wave of sellers.
So a 6 at the front. You'll trade out a 2 or 3 at the front for a 6 at the front. That's a little more easier to swallow, I guess, as compared to a 7 or an 8.
Yes.
And if it gets down to a 5 in front, you think that moves the needle?
I might do it. Actually, one of the houses I looked at in Cornelius this weekend, I'm like, I want this house.
No.
But it would make, yes. It's just silly. Unfortunately, it's a 6-bedroom house, which makes no sense for a family with 3 people.
Not.
If I could cut the upstairs, I would put an offer.
Too bad you can't do that.
The primary on the main was amazing. The kitchen, the yard, everything. Unfortunately, 6 bedrooms, I don't need it. We don't need it. But it was an awesome house.
You could turn one into an office, right? That could be one.
Yeah, but you mean in terms of there is a dedicated office. So no, I don't need that because it's there on the main floor. So literally, if we could, I would still need 1 bedroom for Nina, but the first floor would, if I could put stairs outside and create a kitchen upstairs and rent the upstairs, that would be awesome.
You mentioned Nina, so
yes.
we're talking about your daughter.
Yes.
And so for those with kids, right, we talk about, school is starting back up. You kind of get into this fall rhythm. Happy fall, by the way. Yesterday was the first day of fall. So today's fall.
Happy Who's
So happy fall. We're closer to Christmas, which means we're closer to cooler temps and nice potential
and
snow
again, I'm no, no,
occurring.
no, no. From now on, or yesterday, even though it was 90, I start aiming at my trip to run away from winter. So it's like how many? I think it's 89 days yesterday. I'm like, Siri, how long until my vacation? It's like 89 days. So from now on, with the fall, everybody's celebrating fall. I have the target at the plane to leave winter. So 89 days.
So for the other remaining people that will stay here for when it's cold outside at Christmas time and possibly selling and looking through the market and looking at this cycle now and coming back to, I can't call it a normal cycle because I don't think anybody knows what the new normal will be or if normal will ever be again, for at least what we believe it to be. Going forward and seeing, okay, it's fall, school started back up, uptick of listings potentially, we'll find out today. That's how it's feeling. But conversations, right, happen before the units even hit the market. What's it like when you talk to people about the potential of selling? Is it just solely focused on rates right now? Is that the main thought?
In my particular case, no, it's just the opportunity. So people that are able to afford, let's say, a better house decided to sell. People moving, empty nesters, deciding to move to the beach. I have a few clients doing that, getting ready to list. So it's all about, I think, more. I don't think people are worried about the market itself. And yes, I do think that soon people will think about the interest rate as a bonus for moving. But right now, it's just life changes, and they don't want to wait if it makes no sense for them to wait for the market. And there's always a market because we have not only people here moving, but people from out of state because we have lower taxes, lower home insurance, lower prices, but people that just life changed and they're ready to downsize, move, make dreams come true of, let's say, living at the beach or lake house. So,
all right, seasons change, and so does the weather, and
yes.
that's what happens.
And we always, I hate using all the real estate cliche, but it is true that yes, usually we have more houses in the spring market because many people, especially people who have kids, they want to move during summer so you're ready for school. But we have a lot of people that don't have kids anymore or still don't have kids that can move literally at any time. So you may have fewer, it goes up, like listings go up as more buyers hit the market. And then let's say in the fall, usually you have fewer listers, and in winter, fewer listings, fewer buyers, but ready to buy, qualified, ready to buy. So it goes in waves, but I think everybody can time and can do a great deal and make money if you do the right thing.
There's an ebbs and flow, but there's got to be units to buy. There's got to be a supply. We'll find out if there's more or less this week coming up in a little bit. All right, we're talking buyers. We're talking sellers. Interest rates in general for buyers then, because going back to them, that's an important part, is that are buyers qualified to buy these units in here? We are seeing people from out of state that are able to afford it from a different perspective. And so for the people that are here and it's tight, right? It's tight. They want to be able to move in market, let's say, and they want to find these other spots. You mentioned Belmont, right? Which is too far gone at this point. Or are we okay? Is Belmont
I think
still?
it's doable, but not as good as it used to be because it's amazing and people found out. So
Like a lot of the places around here.
Yes.
And so when we're looking at interest rates and you're talking to buyers, what are they starting? Are we getting close to that buy side consideration?
I think people should do it now, because I will keep saying, number one, I said that close to the election, I've been saying this for months, that when we got close to election day, interest rates would come down, and they have. I wouldn't gamble and wait for 5.5 or 5 because I still believe that once and if we don't know if we're going to do it and when we're going to do it, but I do know that when we do it, everybody will come and try to get a house. So it's going to be crazy. It's going to be multiple offers. It's going to be above, and we already have above ask. So don't wait. And especially if you're renting. you're throwing money in the garbage. So you might start your homeowner life paying, I don't know, 200, 300, 400 more a month at a 6 point something interest rate versus 5.5 or 5, but you are throwing away $2,000 a month in rent. So if you put them side by side, I tell all clients, and sometimes I I love a spreadsheet. Like, I'm a spreadsheet fan. I get the numbers. For people that are not good at spreadsheets, right? I prepare one and I show them, like, in 1 year, how much you paid extra because the interest rate is not as friendly as you would like versus what you're spending on your rent. And I mean, it's an easy decision. And the most important thing, in my opinion, is if you're thinking about buying, even if it's not now, don't try to guess what the steps are. Don't try to guess if your credit score is good or not. 580 and you can get a house. So talk to someone. Don't try to guess. Don't believe the miracle people that make it sound too easy to buy, like on YouTube. I'm not saying that. Get a trusted professional. Be educated of the actual things and then make a plan. I'm not saying, of course, some people will not be able to qualify right now. It doesn't matter. Talk to a realtor, talk to a loan officer, understand where you stand right now. You might be ready. Tons of programs to help first-time buyers, first responders. So down payment assistance. So there are so many options for so many different people. Do not try to guess where you stand. Don't try to guess if you qualify or not. Ask a professional. You have the no. So why not see if you have the yes?
You've got to have that network of people you can turn to in the situation, in the process. You being the broker, you're often handling the nucleus of all of it. What are the other players in the transaction? What are you hearing from your lender partners? What are you hearing maybe even from your other vendors that you work with quite often? What are they saying? Anything new on their perspective in the marketplace?
Let's talk, because I think the big moving part right now is the interest rates. My lender partners are saying they are beginning to get busy again, not only with new buyers, but a lot of people trying to refinance their houses. So people that bought it last year or 2 years ago paid 8%, 7.5%. Many are reaching out to see if it's time to, because it's not always good to refi. So this is something important as well. If you think, oh, okay, 6%, does it make sense? Depending on your situation, it's just not worth it. It depends on your plan, how long you're going to be in the house, how much are you actually paying right now. If the difference makes an actual difference because you have the closing costs, and there are closing costs, don't believe if a lender says there's no closing costs, because you are paying.
They're built into the loan.
They are building. They are adding to your principal. So do not believe you're not paying, because you are.
One of the things definitely that'll be interesting is the term of the loans, and as we get farther and farther down the chain away from an 8% interest rate, let's say, and then resetting of some loans if they can in the product, or if they're just literally moving the interest rates and keeping the remaining term and moving forward. So some of that will definitely, it's a technical process, and it is a mathematical equation. I mean, you take the difference of the payment you're paying if you reduced it, and over the cost, broken down by the cost total based on the closing cost, then you know how long you got to be in the house longer. What if it's another 10 years?
Spreadsheet.
Are you going to be there another 10 years if you got to be there to make up that difference?
Use a spreadsheet, and you can see it.
Just chart it out. That's what she's doing.
I love a good spreadsheet.
Waiting for another call and another buyer, another seller to show in the marketplace. You seen first-time homebuyers any last week at all?
No.
Okay.
Because I was blocked my time. I had blocked my time for the Brazilian people.
You were making a maintenance Monday, weren't you? That's what you were working on.
Yes.
There's more of today's Real Talk with Claudia Ogrizek and Justin Ckezepis on the way from 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
We're kicking off a brand new week and more opportunities for rain. Really what could soak us by the end of the weekend to the upcoming weekend, with a couple different systems on the way, and a system that could be forming in the Gulf of Mexico that may bring some rain and possibly wind our way by the upcoming weekend. In the meantime, we'll see a mix of clouds, some sunshine peeking out at times for our Monday. We'll really ward off the rain chance until a spotty shower possible this evening. We'll keep that chance around for Tuesday with high temperatures both days around 80. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. meteorologist Chase Myers.
Sweet chocolate reward. Sweet chocolate reward.
This is not just the sound of someone picking up a sweet treat at Walgreens. This is the sound of someone picking up a sweet treat right after receiving all their vaccines in one trip. This is the sound of treating yourself, because you protected yourself.
Stop by or schedule both your flu and COVID-19 vaccines today and grab yourself a sweet treat while you're at it. Vaccine subject to availability. State, age, and health-related restrictions may apply.
I occasionally have nerve discomfort in my hands, so the things I love to do...
Let's play something, Grandma.
...became difficult as I got older.
If you have occasional stabbing and burning in your hands and feet, try Nervive Nerve Relief. Nervive's clinically studied dose of alpha-lipoic acid reduces occasional nerve discomfort in as little as 7 days with continued daily use. Say yes to healthy nerves with Nervive Nerve Relief. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Family, quality, value. With a legacy of excellence for over 40 years, Horn Heating and Air Conditioning will make your house feel like a home. Welcome home to the feeling of HornHVAC.com.
Hey folks, you know Randy Marion Ford Lincoln in Statesville is known for the prices and selection, but I tell you what, you may not have known the distinction that this store received with Ford and Lincoln this year. We received the President's Award for 2023 for Ford for the 5th year in a row. We also received it for Lincoln for the first year, and I tell you, those awards don't come easily. It all boils down to taking care of the customers and having the vehicles you want in stock for you to buy.
Bob McIntosh here with the McIntosh Law Firm in Davidson. Serving this community has been a collective passion of our law firm since 1997. We offer the quality legal services and results you would expect from a large downtown firm, but with a personal, community-focused approach right here at home. The McIntosh Law Firm, your local legal resource.
To learn more about the McIntosh Law Firm, visit McIntoshLawFirm.com.
This is Brad with Lake Norman Patio and Game Rooms in Mooresville. Come check us out and see the greatest outdoor furniture in the world. LKNPatio.com, 847 Brawley Screw Road in Mooresville. LKN Patio and Game Rooms, outdoor living at its finest.
Are you in constant pain, under constant stress? Just need a moment away? Repeat after me. Serenity Now Massage Therapy. SerenityNowMassageandWellness.com, with locations in Mooresville and Cornelius.
This is the Bloomberg Money Minute. More than a week into a machinist union strike, Boeing has substantially raised its contract offer to the union today. Now with a 30% wage hike over 4 years, that's up from 25%, which the union rejected. Now, Boeing also reinstated a ratification bonus and increased the company match on its 401k retirement savings plan. No response yet, though, from the union on this latest offer. But it does have shares of Boeing 3% higher right now, while us are on Wall Street. Some modest gains to start the new week. Right now, the Dow is up about 0.5%, building on Friday's record close. The NASDAQ and the S&P both up about the same amount. Shares of Intel up more than 4%. The private equity firm Apollo Global Management offering to make a multi-billion-dollar investment in the struggling chipmaker, which comes after rival chipmaker Qualcomm floated a takeover offer for Intel just last week. And a popular candy bar is out with a new flavor, Kit Kat Vanilla. Tom Busby, Bloomberg Radio.
We're back with more of today's Real Talk with Claudia Ogrizek and Justin Ckezepis on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Today's Real Talk, the show focused on North Carolina real estate. Justin Ckezepis, Claudia Ogrizek of Compass Real Estate. Back at it again. Are you going to have a Maintenance Monday today?
Yes. Very important.
How deep is it going to go? Because people.
How do you know? There is some kind of depth to it.
To taking
Monday.
care and making sure that you are making sure your property is taken care of, basically.
No, to the topic. You said something about
level.
Deep. So it's something that has a certain depth to work, and it's related. Let's see if you can guess. So it's related to fall, and there's a certain depth to it to work.
Pools?
No.
Digging holes? Oh, okay.
Yes.
We're digging holes. Okay.
Yes. So can you guess what it is?
I can't.
I'm afraid of saying the wrong way.
Landscaping?
No. Well, yes. It has to do
Shrubbery?
It has to do with preparing the grass
Aerating.
for the winter. How do you say it?
Aerating. I say aerating. I don't know if that's right. Aerating? Aerating?
I don't know.
It's
I would say
pulling
aerating.
plugs.
Pulling plug. Aerating. I would say aerating.
Did you buy the spikes off Amazon that you could just put on the
No, I
bottom of your
have.
shoes and walk around?
No, I have a monthly service. I mean, I pay monthly. To be honest, I'm not 100% if they come at a certain. I know that every year they send me the calendar. They come whenever needed. So now I know they're coming. So a few weeks ago they put fertilizer. I think. I don't know. Now they're gonna come for aeration.
Yeah.
So they pull the plug. So and then whatever comes
They
next, seeds,
Fertilize,
and
lime,
I don't
topsoil,
know.
or
Yes, all the.
hay, or whatever it is you want to use.
Do you want me to use my southern accent to say
Yes.
topsoil?
Topsoil.
Yes.
Get you some topsoil on there.
Topsoil. But they're coming. So right now, if you have a monthly service like I do, they're gonna come and pull the plugs. If not, you better buy something at Amazon or Lowe's and do it because it's important to do it. So you have, I don't know the technical explanation, but some fresh air and stuff. And then you can fertilize, put seeds. So next year you have beautiful grass. And just be careful with the kind of grass you have. If you have Bermuda, if you have fescue, don't make a mistake. So do you have a service or you do it
I do it
own?
myself.
Do you do
I aerate and I put
Really?
seed and I
Aerate?
put aerate.
Aerate. We don't know how to. Can we have in the morning show not the word of the day, not how the explanation, but how to say it?
Yeah, we're working on it. We work through it.
Aeration.
That's pretty good. And are you finding that you're having to let's bring it back to real estate? Are you having to teach terms to buyers and sellers in the process? Do you try to do that? Like,
Yes.
let me tell you about
I'm
this
a pain.
concept.
Yes, I'm a pain. I am teaching. It's one of my things to my clients on Instagram. I do want to teach people, and I want them to know what they're buying or sell. Not necessarily buying the house, but understanding the process, understanding terms, understanding everything that is involved in a transaction as much as possible, of course. But yes, I do teach them. I explain. I make them. Like the diligence fee, I explain. I'm like, now you tell me what it is.
You make them recite it back to you
yes,
there?
I love Jeopardy, so I do a kind of a Jeopardy thing with my
Back
clients.
and forth, huh?
Yes.
I'm sure they appreciate it in the long run. There's no doubt
in
about
the,
that.
Maybe
and
not.
in the short run.
Maybe not at the moment, but in the future, they're like, you know what? It was good because I didn't know, and now I know, so they understand.
Do you find most buyers, at least the ones that you're working with, that they're thinking about it as, okay, if I sell in 5 years, or is that a point like you have to bring up with them?
I have to, most of the times, I have to bring, like, I am constantly talking about it. Most of the times, I don't think, because people are very cute and very naive, and they always believe they're buying the forever home. So I have to make them aware that their forever home will probably last 5 years and they're going to move. Usually
because life changes.
Because life changes, they make more money, or they made so much money in the house that why not get a better house, a larger home?
A lot can change in 5 years.
Yes. And if something went bad, same thing. They can use the money they made to downsize if needed, or move from out of state or to a different state. So the forever home is most likely never forever.
That's where even the refinance conversation becomes important, like we talked about, right? If you spend so much money on a refinance, now the math works out that, hey, if you stay there less than, 5 more years, then at that point you'd be, in theory, like having to spend more money in order to accomplish your goal.
Yes.
And so talking with a professional and knowing what's going on, what are some options out there? What are the options that exist? It's definitely not about pointing them into one particular direction. It's about letting them know all of their options and keeping them informed. How much time are you spending having to educate yourself in this market, right? Because that's a part of it. You obviously have to do continuing education and things like that. But is it more like articles and staying in the know of policy and what's going on from a AI and technology and tools for your sellers and things like that, right? All that stuff exists. So.
Yes, it's a little bit of everything. Today, I was at a training at Compass, and we were talking about planning for the last quarter for 2025, how to do it, how do you manage things. And I told them, because we were brainstorming, right? and I told them about the Pomodoro technique. Do you know what a Pomodoro technique is?
no.
Never heard of it? So it's, I don't know, there is a rule for it. I just don't know exactly what is the certain number. I do it 15 minutes. So every morning, first thing I do when I sit in front of my computer, I turn on the timer on my phone, and I have a list of things I do every day that I have to do. So
Repetition
let's say
without fail. This
every
is it.
morning I go and I'm like, at least to begin my day, because then the days get crazy. Sometimes I have showings all day. Sometimes I have continuing education. So I can't really predict my day all days because it varies with my clients and everything. But every morning, first thing I do, I sit in front of my computer and I have, so it's like 15 minutes answering emails, 15 minutes erasing. I know it's funny, but it is true. Going through my pictures, because I use my pictures, not only, of course, I'm always taking pictures of homes and things, but also as reminders. So if a client says, hey, can you help me find a contractor to do whatever, I take a screenshot of the conversation. So because I get so many messages, so many texts, Instagram, DMs, I have to keep track. Otherwise, I go crazy. So 15 minutes of that, 15 minutes of learning, and then with the learning, either I read articles or I listen to podcasts or a book, but 15. So for an hour and a half on average, 6 tasks. And then depending on the day, I do, it could be more education. It could be more showings. It could be all kinds of stuff. But every morning, my timer grows. Every 15 minutes, I do it's awesome. It helps a lot because it's kind of like I don't do anything else other than, let's say, the first 15 minutes answering emails. Compass has an amazing system with the tasks. So I have all my deals at the same time. And of course, there's a bunch of stuff people have no idea we do during a transaction. So right now, thanks to Compass, I have everything because it was my mind, my handwritten calendar, and reviewing. So every morning I kind of like get all my deals and is this okay? So now I have a task. So 15 minutes going through the tasks, make sure everything is getting done. So this is an awesome thing. And I do it again, a little bit every day.
And creating that routine has just enabled you to become cyborg level broker of helping everybody. That's
Yes.
you've dominated.
Yes. And my clients know, and I make sure they know that it's still me. It will always be me. They text me, they call me. It's me answering with all I got.
How much of your time are you, because on the listing side, I'm curious, because as we've talked about multiple times, from the commission, the North Carolina Real Estate Commission, they've put out, like, as far as the complaints against brokers, a significant percentage relate to material fact. How much time with your sellers are you having to spend explaining and going through the property disclosure and really like helping them understand what is even being asked of them? Because I think that can get complicated too.
Because do you know I was a teacher back in the day? I don't know if you know that.
I didn't know that.
Back in the day, I was a teacher. So I think because I have the teacher in me, I explain why and how. And because I'm also very proactive, silly things like how old is your HVAC and people don't know, I show them.
You
can
go out to
find
the
it.
unit.
You
Let's
can
go
find
look at
it.
this
So, don't be
tag
lazy.
out here.
Just check, put on Google, and you find it. So in my clients, they know.
Are roofs still popular conversation in the transaction?
Yes.
How about moisture? Is moisture there yet as far as? Okay. All right. I just didn't know if those things were happening.
I
at
have a
all
little
anymore.
moisture reader machine.
Hey, more or less, what do you think? You got
More.
5 seconds.
More.
Oh, more or less. More units on the market this week than last. We'll find out next.
We'll be back with more of today's Real Talk, hosted by Claudia Ogrizek and Justin Ckezepis, in just a moment on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
We're kicking off a brand new week and more opportunities for rain. Really what could soak us by the end of the weekend to the upcoming weekend, with a couple different systems on the way and a system that could be forming in the Gulf of Mexico that may bring some rain and possibly wind our way by the upcoming weekend. In the meantime, we'll see a mix of clouds, some sunshine peeking out at times for our Monday. We'll really ward off the rain chance until a spotty shower possible this evening. Keep that chance around for Tuesday with high temperatures both days around 80. That's your forecast for the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Brookdale Village in Huntersville presents their free concert series Live Under the Oaks on Friday. The Village is open all day long for shopping and dining, with Hey Ladies taking the stage at 6 p.m. Bring your chairs and enjoy on-site beverages from Red Rocks. Live Under the Oaks kicks off at 6 p.m. Friday. This Saturday, the Tabo Walk begins at 2 p.m. in Old Town Cornelius. Join the area's premier arts and music festival and get ready to experience Lake Norman's most action-packed and fun-filled community celebration with plenty to do for the entire family. Festivities include 2 stages of live bands and entertainment, local artists, craftsmen and vendors, local breweries, multiple food truck courts, a petting zoo, kid zones, games, giveaways, and so much more. The Tabo Walk begins at 2 p.m. Saturday in Old Town Cornelius. Northview's Stars Ministry presents a fundraising carnival for children and adults with special needs on September 28th. The carnival begins at 11 a.m. Saturday at 2615 Amity Hill Road in Statesville with free admission. There will be food, activities, and fun for the whole family. Please help raise funds for children and adults with special needs Saturday at the Northview Church of Christ in Statesville. The Breakaway Carolina Music Festival returns to ZMAX Dragway this Friday and Saturday, bringing a party like no other. The festival features 2 days of music, activities, and much more, beginning at 4 p.m. on both days. Visit CharlotteMotorspeedway.com for information, tickets, and details for the Carolina Breakaway Music Festival this Friday and Saturday.
The Renaissance Festival is back! Saturdays and Sundays, October 5th through November 24th. Jousting nights, mermaids, fairies, dragons, oh my! Tickets available online only at renfestinfo.com. Don't miss it!
To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
It's today's Real Talk with Claudia Ogrizek and Justin Ckezepis on 105.9 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Today's Real Talk, the show focused on North Carolina real estate. Justin Ckezepis, Claudia Ogrizek. Time has come, Claudia. There's no turning back now. The market is going to continue to move, and people need to know, are there more or less units this week on Canopy MLS, 500,000 or less, active and coming soon by county, always starting with Mecklenburg County, as compared to last week? Last week we had 1,703.
Which was a huge drop from the previous week with 2241.
Something happened there.
Something happened.
Don't know.
I don't know.
Could have been me fat fingering it.
And I just remembered that I think this week is the best. I don't know if there was something online saying that this coming week, I think, is the very best week to buy a house. I swear.
The actual best week.
Yes.
If you're going to do it, now's the time.
Today, this week is so. Give me a call. Let's buy a house.
All right. So this week, are there more or less?
More than 1,700 for sure.
And you are
correct. I am correct.
Yeah, you're correct. 1,738.
Oh. Which is not good.
So 35 unit jump. Again, remember, we're doing this by county, 500,000 or less. Mecklenburg County has a population of 1.1 million. So we're talking about 1,738 active and coming soon units on market because it's in the MLS. 500,000 or less in Mecklenburg
500
County.
Or less. Which is, I think is actually pretty good because our price point is going up and up and up. So the fact that we do have more than 1,700, I think it's...
So the fact that we are adding more units under 500,000 is the positive here, that we are moving in the direction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And again, people keep in mind, don't guess if you can afford a house or not. I cannot count the number of times I talk to people because they've heard my Instagram, whatever, and they found out they could buy. So they were just wasting money on rental because they were assuming they couldn't apply, they couldn't get approved. Remember, 3% down, you can buy a house. 3.5% down, you can buy a house. Sometimes 0 down, you can buy a house. So talk to someone, don't guess.
The other thing I find for most people is it really does take planning to know when is the right time to buy a house. It isn't a, I'm going to do it tomorrow thing. For some people, it may work out that way, right? Like literally it could. But for a vast majority of people, it is months of planning and preparing. And so to have certain conversations earlier make a lot of sense. For example, if you know you're going to buy, the big thing that you're always worried about, probably on the financial side, if I had to guess, is the credit pull, right? Like that's certainly a thing. Talk to a lending professional. Brad Roach, who does the show here as well, as one of them, and there's many others that Claudia can get you connected with that are good in the marketplace. And maybe you can find out the other factors related to borrowing and then know the timeframes of when to start having your credit pulled because it only lasts so long in your credit report. Or you could have multiple pulls within a certain time frame if it's related to a concept. So getting with the professionals is very important in that. Do you find it's you having to introduce the people to these other professionals in the chain that are necessary?
I do think, and it's not because, but I do think that the best conversation, the first initial conversation is better with a realtor than with a lender. Because I think the lender will be more focused on the money side of it. That's it. And we have a whole idea of, yes, the money, but money, life, life situation, life expectation, everything. So I think start with a realtor who will then take you to talk to a lender. This is number 2 for sure. So realtor number 1, lender number 2, no doubt about it. But even talk about credit score, things that most people don't know about. But yes, the credit pool, people are terrified of it. But you also have to understand, I kind of try to explain, a credit pool to see if you can qualify for a house is not as harsh as one when you try to open a credit card or buy a car. Why? Because when you're buying a house, you are investing, you are creating assets. So it's not as bad as when you open a credit card or when you buy a car that in 99.9% loses value, you are spending money. So in one, you are creating or investing in the long term. In one, you're spending your money. So a credit score pool for buying a house is not as bad. And yes, you can talk to a lender, at least in the beginning, the initial conversation, just to understand and have a kind of a, not official pre-qual or anything, but at least an idea. Yes, you could be ready, or no, let's wait. You can do it. You can have a conversation without any credit pool at all.
And it's really about trust, because a lot of the conversation stems around things that are pretty personal, pretty deeply personal. Hey, how much money do you make each year?
Yes.
How much debt do you have? Do you have a bunch of credit cards? Hey, those student loans that we talked about, are those there? Oh, you've got some medical bills too. Oh, you just bought a new car. These are very intimate things, and it does take a level of trust.
Yeah. And by the way, if you're thinking about buying a house in the near future, don't buy a new car. Period. Use the
That's like your number one rule you'll start with.
This is my number one, yes. I do think it's the same. I tell my clients that are thinking about selling a house, it doesn't matter if I had a kind of a laid back listing appointment last week, and they want to list in May. It's a huge house. They have 3 kids, tons of toys, tons of baby clothes. And I said, I hope you hire me, but even if you don't, I said, start donating, selling, and throwing away today. If it's a box a day or a week, start today, because if you don't, it gets overwhelming at the end. So it might sound crazy, but it's the right thing to do. It's the same thing. Oh, I'm going to start getting ready, working on my credit score, saving money to buy a house a year from now. Start making the right decision about money now. And yes, I know I'm not average. I'm a pretty frugal person, but try to train your life on everyday situations. Do I want this? And then try not to get it, or do I need this? I think we talked about it here before. I did a dry January and February. I don't drink, so it wasn't about drinking. It was about buying. And I didn't buy anything unless I really needed, meaning, gas and food. I didn't buy absolutely anything in January and February. Did I want to do it? Yes. So many times I go like, oh, I'm not going to do it. Just to train. I didn't need to do anything, but as a training, and I know it's crazy, but training my discipline. I'm like, I'm not going to buy it. So do that, and I think it helps. Any money you save, I know many people say, oh, don't have your Starbucks, and in 1 year you saved, and you would still don't have money to. For me, it's the opposite. I like save the $4, and in the long term, little by little, you will save enough money.
Okay, that's the journey to get to the part of buying the house. Once you buy the house, you've got to maintain the house.
Yes.
And you've got to do that by actually taking some type of action yourself or hiring somebody to do something from time to time. What you got for us on maintenance today?
The plug, the aeration.
Oh, we already talked. We already did it?
Yes.
Oh, well.
Drink more of your soda. You need caffeine, I guess.
Wow.
That one got away from me.
Yes.
So
this
do it
is
again.
maintenance because, again, even if it's not like a technical maintenance, it is because having a nice lawn sells houses because it's about the curb appeal.
Now's the time to seed,
Yes,
That's what they're
because
saying.
if you have a yard and to have a nice yard from an ugly one to a nice one, you can spend thousands of dollars. So yes, maintaining a nice lawn and yard
It's a
makes
factor.
a huge difference. Yes, it is. It is a difference when you're selling the house.
Do you call that curb appeal still? Is that what we're allowed to call it? The curb appeal of a home?
As far as I know,
Okay, I'm just making sure it's not a term.
if it's
That's
a
not
wrong
allowed.
term now, I'm not aware.
I just didn't know. I just wanted to check it with you. You would
What
know.
what else could we say about it?
I don't know. The home glamour, the glamour effect.
Well, yeah, if we're using AI, yes, you would say the house boasts fresh lawn.
There you go.
Yeah, I can't do it. Like I'm not.
Are you seeing
I'm not there
AI
yet.
photos at all when you're scouring the internet and seeing?
Yes. For me, it's still painful. The pictures, the descriptions, and I know many agents think you have to do it. I clearly see it, and it's so annoying. For me, it's like take 10 minutes and write the description, use your words, because you can clearly see because there's a list that every single AI listing uses the same words, and it drives me insane.
What about virtual tours? Are those still popular at all, or for your clients, particularly that are out of
But
state?
I feel like, honestly, I think most people prefer, instead of the virtual, I think the video of the house instead of the virtual 3D thing. There are some people that like it, but I always ask my clients, and I think most people get a little annoyed trying to do the virtual thing. So I think the visual of you with a camera walking and showing the flow of the house is better. It's more pleasant than a 3D virtual tour.
Have you had recently, because obviously you did through COVID and after, and for years after, probably sight unseen. Is that still a thing at all?
It is a thing. I'm not a fan. I avoided, and I was able to make it happen without. I don't like it because as I can know my buyer as much as I can, and the house. I always say the house, the location can be perfect, the layout might be perfect, but there's a smell. There's a natural light. There's things that a camera will not be able, even if I'm like FaceTime, camera won't show. And the feeling, I don't know the kind of smell you like. So the house has, and I'm not talking about like gross smells, but just smell.
In general.
So I'm not gonna, it wasn't for me. I was able to make my clients see the house in person, and it worked because, it would kill me if I found out that the smell was something, and then my clients are unhappy because they hate the natural or the lack of natural light, so no, I didn't do it. But yes, there are people that do it.
Are
Not a fan.
we getting close back to an equal market?
No,
buyer?
I don't think.
Just not even there.
I don't
yet.
think so. Many people are talking about a shifting market, and I'm still going to say it's not about a shifting market. It's just about the buyers being more selective. That's all.
Okay.
It's still a seller's market, in my opinion.
Because inventory is low?
Inventory is low.
We'll find out if that changes next week. More or less, that'll be back next week. Yes. We'll be back.
Serving you better than ever before.